Welcome aboard, all you wonderful groomers, pet stylists, and canine cosmetologists. You found the Traveling Groomers Podcast, where we discuss lessons learned from mobile and house call grooming. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bear Anthony. Any moment now, we'll be joined by my co-host and friend, retired mobile groomer and educator extraordinaire, Mary Aquendo, and very likely a special guest to help us chat about all things grooming, grooming industry related, and just plain fun digressions that I will totally wrangle back to topic. Grab those travel mugs and climb aboard to see where today's topic will bring us. Let's roll.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hey, Mary. It's going. I'm picking hair out of my mic.
All right, so Chris, what episode is this?
Why, Mary, I'm glad you asked. Welcome to episode number 228, recorded on September 21st, and that will be airing on September 27th.
Okay, good job, Chris.
I know it's a good job, goddammit.
Okay, so we have a... Go ahead.
I forgot something. We discussed what we were talking about before we hit record, but I forgot something that happened today regarding our famous friend, and you know that how.
Okay, so we're getting an update. All right.
Update.
All right, then you know what? We're not going to make people wait.
Okay.
What is the
I was going to make people wait. So here's the update. So last week, and this is adjustable tub problems. I have a hair trap installed under the tub that is non-standard. You know, it didn't come with the tub because it came with, oh, here's a hair trap. It's one of those strainers, like a ton of hair gets through that. I'm not going to do that to my plumbing. So I have an external hair trap that I can clean out. So I haven't been really raising and lowering the tub a lot. And I lowered it the other day and I forgot I had stuff under there. And I heard a crunch. And I thought it was just the one thing that I saw that I'm like, oh, that's not a problem. That went crunch. So I'm washing the dog. And I use a Bathing Beauty. So I had the stopper in the tub. And then I take the stopper out of the tub and I hear like, stopper back in the tub real fast. I just heard the water just boom, hitting the floor. Apparently that external hair trap also hit something and popped right off. So I 911'd my contractor. He couldn't make it. Long story short, I didn't have to panic dial him, and I didn't realize that I could get my little knee crutch. I could get it unstrapped from my leg and hit the floor real fucking fast. Didn't know I could do that fast, and paid for it later. But so I just bypassed the hair trap because I tried to get it back on, and this was why I hired a plumber to begin with. And I just bypassed it so it would work for now. Anyway, my contractor is not a plumber, so it was only until this morning he could get his plumber out to reattach the hair trap and get it on there. And so I'm sitting at my desk, we're discussing things. He mentions putting in my side door in my garage, because right now the only way into my garage is through the big garage door or through my house. And I'm not having customers stroll through my house, which includes walking through a half bath into my garage. So they're coming into the garage door. So with the cutting the door and the side got mentioned again. And I said, oh, great. I'm really looking forward to that, because when I set all this up, I didn't expect to have this many people coming in and out of my garage door. And I don't like the world knowing my business. You know what I mean? I am working on getting appropriate zoning and things, but I don't want a neighbor to be pissed off. I don't want the world knowing my business, that I got customers coming in and out. Mary, he starts telling me how to, oh, you don't have to worry about that. They don't know what are you worried about your neighbors for? I'm like, do you know my neighbors? Do you fucking live here? Do you know the problems I've had with the landlord of the building on one side? I know he would have issue because he's been a jerk like that. I don't have 10 dogs coming in and out every day. I have 3 on a busy day. And not even every, anyway, not the point. And then he's like, oh, you prove it. They can't prove you're doing this. You're teaching them to do stuff. And I'm thinking, well, first of all, that's still using my home as a business.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two. And then he's like, oh, you just get a little LLC. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have an LLC. I'm like, the fuck does he think I'm running here? What? I get an LLC? Like, I don't.
A little LLC, Chris. Let's be clear.
Little. It was too early in the morning for that shit. This was like before 9 a.m. I hadn't had coffee. What? Just get a little LLC, if you put some money in, put some checks. I'm like, you see Chris, what is on my wall behind me? I just do this as a hobby. I just pulled my thumb out of my ass one day and said, this is not the first time he's given me advice on how to run a grooming business. Holy shit, I can't wait to be done with him. Jesus fucking Christ, Mary.
Okay.
That was how my morning started this morning.
Did you show him the sticker?
No.
Chris,
I want him to be no. I want him to be way more
we want
done.
His address so we can mail him one.
I want my door to be installed. I want my gate to be finished. I want things to be done. Want things to be done before I hand him a couple stickers of his own.
I think once that's all done, I think we should be mailing him from various locations stickers. You know that how, and I am
every time I go to a trade show, I'll mail one, so it's got different stamps.
Well, if we get X, I'm sure there are some listeners who will volunteer to do that.
I don't want to be a jerk and dox him and like give out his address and shit. I'm not going to.
Is he a business? Is he a business?
Yes.
Then he has his business address online. I'm just saying.
I know. But one of my clients today did notice all the stuff on the wall, so that was nice.
Okay. So on that note, let's take our first commercial break.
We will. But you know what, Mary?
Yes.
What if I told you that you could have a year's worth of online education for less than the cost of one in-person trade show?
Tell me more, Chris. Tell me more.
That's right. Do you know for only $97 a month, $97, not like dog hairs or toenails, you have access to a different 2-day educational conference with 10 hours of material taught by the best in the industry. Now, every month has a new theme that includes anything from grooming skills to business and everything in between. Now, if you can't catch it live, because life happens.
It is online.
And it's online, or you just want to rewatch it. Like maybe you were listening while grooming and stuff was going on. Recordings are available for 6 weeks. So with closed captioning for both live and recordings with transcripts, so you can read along if you're hearing impaired. What are you waiting for? Grab your membership at positiveed.com today.
Okay.
Today. Ta-da.
Okay.
And I don't know, listeners will have to, now that we have the nice soundboard where I can play music and hit buttons, listeners will have to tell me if they like the live commercials better or the recorded ones.
Okay.
Done.
So moving it along,
Moving right
we're
along. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
we're recently back from Hershey, and
Yes.
I'm done. Hershey was my last trade show of the year, and then I went out and did a 3-day instructor training for pet first aid instructors, which really is a 5-day. It's day before, day after travel, and
Yeah.
then 3 days there. I came home yesterday, and I'm done. I am so done. I don't have to travel now until Land of Pet Fair or Groomed, whichever one you want to call it,
Well,
in
I
March.
just I just want to also say when I do all this traveling for the instructors and for the vendors and stuff to travel to all these trade shows. Yeah, it's a 3-day trade show, but Thursday is set up. So if you're a vendor, you have to be there by early-ish to lunch on Thursday to set up your booth. Then you have travel back. It's almost a week. It's a minimum 5 to 6 day thing. So it's not like we get these little 3-day vacations places. No. And then you have to recover because
Yeah,
you're exhausted. All right,
yeah.
that was my tangent and soapbox.
So I came home yesterday. Fair, not too bad. But you know what? Today I'm shot. Today I'm just recording. Basically, I'm recording a podcast, and that's the extent of any active brain cells. Okay, but let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about Hershey. Okay, there was some really poor behavior at Hershey, and we hate to have to like harp on this all the time. Okay,
We're gonna be the moms and say we're disappointed with some of the
very,
behavior.
very disappointed in
We're
people.
very sad.
All right, so let's start off with what it takes to be a vendor. First of all, you have to buy a booth. And booth is not cheap.
No,
Okay. All right.
no,
So you buy a booth, and then you have to ship product out to the show.
you don't just buy the. Let me stop you because you skipped like 2 steps.
Okay.
Do you need tables in your booth? That is extra. Do you need electricity in your booth? That is extra. Like it's not just the space and it comes with everything. No, all of those things add up. But go ahead. Now,
Okay.
now you got to ship your product.
You got to ship your product there. You have to get yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Many vendors, especially the small vendors, they're your fellow groomer. Okay. How many of them are closing up shop
Yeah.
to go out there? Okay. And even the ones that are not, they're not home doing the business that they're supposed to do. All right. So it's that whole at least 2 days of traveling,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the bare minimum. So they come out there and they have to set up their booths. If they need help for the booths, then they have to hire people, but sometimes they can't do that because you know what? They're a small business.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to pay for their hotel rooms and food while
Yep,
they're out there. They have
exactly.
those expenses.
Okay. And then they hoped to sell enough that to break even, maybe pull in new clients, but to expose you, the groomer, to their products. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
how are they repaid, Chris?
Well,
And
you want me to
no,
you
no,
want
no,
you
no.
want me to
Let's
go?
stop. Let's stop.
Yeah,
No, no, not by everyone,
not by
but
everyone. You know
but it
what?
is enough of a problem. Okay. So if you're wondering why your favorite vendor isn't going to be at an upcoming show, you may want to ask yourself why that is. Okay. So you have people, all right. So there's a couple of incidences that stand out from the Hershey show. Okay. The
Mhm.
first one was Celtic Canine.
Yeah.
Okay. That somebody after hours. Now this is in the room that gets locked. So this is not
Yeah.
was not a vendor out in the hallway. She was a vendor in a locked room. And the only people who had access to this room was either you had the competitor or the exhibitor badge,
Yeah. So you had to be another vendor to get let in.
or not necessarily another
Or
vendor. or somebody who worked for a vendor
somebody who worked for a vendor, someone vendor associated.
associated, or you were in there with either as a competitor or with a competitor. Those are
Mhm.
the only people in there. All right. And someone took 28, was it 28 extra
27
large?
or 28 extra large. Yeah. Yeah. The big girl smocks. Thanks. Thanks. I wanted one of those. Couldn't buy one because it got stole.
Okay.
Mm,
And that's a hit on a small business
that's a humongous hit.
because that cost material to make, time to make, and was factored into the cost of doing business for being at a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do you want vendors to have cameras up watching
It's
your every move?
doesn't matter. There was somebody posted, someone caught on camera from one of the Hershey Lodge cameras stealing from Groomers Mall,
Yeah.
which is a small business.
Yes.
Yeah. The camera
Oh,
did not have good resolution and her name tag could not be read.
okay. I mean, how famous do you want to be? Because what's
Yeah,
going to
seriously.
happen is that the vendors are going to put up cameras. Right.
Yeah. And
Right.
there's always been a problem. Like I'm not gonna say, oh, this is the first Hershey that stuff's got. This is the first show. No,
Yeah.
this has been a consistent problem. This year was just particularly bad.
Yeah. All right. And I'm
Partially,
just going to harp on these are the people who supply you with equipment. These are the people who come up with the great ideas and great products. They are
mm-hmm,
small businesses,
mm-hmm,
sort of akin to if you're a groomer, but let's say you're working for somebody and you just groomed for a whole week of dogs, but um, you're not getting paid for that because your boss is going to steal your income. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Or your boss is going to decide not to pay you. Or that if you're a business owner, that's the people who are bouncing your checks, who are walking out without paying, who are not giving you
or
resources
or stealing your tips.
or stealing your tips.
I did work for one place where he said we were lucky we didn't he didn't take our tips. If I got, for those of you watching on YouTube, I got the crazy eyes for a minute right there. I caught a glimpse of myself in the camera. I'm like, I got crazy eyes because that was a moment, because I feel that tip stealers are some of the lowest life forms possible.
Okay.
Just saying. Not that I
Yeah.
have strong feelings.
All right. Or, the groomer that, a customer gives somebody a tip intended for you and you never see it. That's
Uh-huh.
theft. That's theft.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
It's
all
been
of these things
18
you could
years.
relate back.
I still remember the dogs' names. It's been at least 18 to 20 years. I still remember. Just saying.
Yeah, I just could say I can recall leaving my day's tips in my smock pocket and then left. And even though I hung up and the jacket was not washed that day, my tips were not in my pocket when I got to work the next day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I know exactly who did it, but you can't prove it because there were no cameras up. But anyway, not that I'm bitter about that or anything 20 years later. But,
Right?
but, but, all right. And then there was the Zymox booth.
Yeah. Now, how many of you all, because I haven't used their products, but I hear like they have almost a cult following. People are like, Zymox ear cleaners. It's fantastic
Oh,
for
their ear
problem
cleaner
skin
is
and
the
coats.
ear cleaner is
Like
phenomenal.
all I hear is, and I got to pick some up now because I'm like, all I hear is how amazing it is for problem ears, for problem coats, for this. Like if you love Zymox, it's practically a cult-like following. They love their stuff. So if they're not at your next trade show, you
This is
can thank a
why.
whole bunch of your fellow groomers. You can thank them. So let me even preface this by saying Friday at Hershey was, and I've been going to Hershey for quite a few years now, vending. It's never a slow show. Friday was one of the busiest I have ever seen. You couldn't move. It was packed, which was phenomenal. We were super happy to see it. So for whatever reason, something happened. I don't know what, because I don't know anyone in there. I just heard this from a fellow vendor. The people who were supposed to man the Zymox booth didn't make it in on Friday. Like their booth was set up, their product was out. They did not make it there. I don't know if they had a personal emergency. I don't know if there was a medical emergency. I don't know anything that happened, but no one showed up that day. Mary, what do you think they found when they walked in on Saturday morning?
Well, they found nothing.
Yeah, they found nothing, as in almost all of their product gone. The table was wiped off. I have excellent reports that there were people going behind the tables and taking stuff from underneath. And the quote was, well, I know it's stealing, but. So if they're not at a show or their prices like have a drastic increase, you can thank your fellow groomers on Friday for wiping them out, because now they have to recoup that somehow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if everything went up.
Yeah.
Just saying. And I have more to say on that, but we need to keep to our commercial schedule.
Go for
And
it.
speaking of continuing education, because we either were or will be, join the Andis World Class Education Team each month for live interactive virtual classes. You'll learn new and trending styles, as well as tips and tricks from some of the best groomers in the industry. Whether you're looking for basic skills, trending styles, advanced techniques, or even just ways to spark your creativity, the new Andis Grooming Education site is your source for finding what you need to create your way for success. Try new techniques, learn from the pros, and grow your confidence today at andis.com/groomer education. Traveling Groomer podcast listeners, hey, that's you, can get 25% off your first course today with the code VEGROOMING at checkout on andis.com/groomer education.
So we talked
You can tell we're probably a little annoyed right now.
I'm a little annoyed. I'm annoyed. I'm disappointed, because the reason I'm so upset and disappointed is when we talk about trade shows and we talk about continuing education and professionalism, which we do a lot, and we just had an episode on raising the level of professionalism in the industry and how we're seen by our clients and by the public as professionals. And then we go and do something like this at a trade show, which is supposed to be kind of not totally the cream of the crop, but the upper tier groomers who actually care enough to go to trade shows and have the means. It's not just caring. That came out as wrong. I know some people can't afford to travel to a show, so I'm not dissing you if you can't, but these are the people who can. These are that upper level who may or may not be there for classes, who are there for shop or the education, watch the competitions, learn, be professionals. One would think.
Yeah.
I'm a little hurt.
Yeah. I think that photo that is circling around from the Groomers Mall booth. Yeah, I think that person is going to be identified. She had a very distinct hairstyle.
Yes. Yeah. She was distinctive enough that if you knew who she was, you'd be like, oh, that's so-and-so. Clearly, like it was a little blurry, but it wasn't that blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this we're going to put this in the middle, Mary, because we're going to need to recover after. And I didn't watch the video, but when things like Justice for Atlas starts going around, and we try to raise the level of professionalism and say, not all groomers are like this. And then we go and do something in our own industry like that. It sucks, and it does not look good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, when I first saw that Justice for Atlas and that petition, I clicked on it and I went, oh, this is going to be another one of those blame the groomer for shit. You know what I mean? I thought this was going to be another one of those, oh, what really happened? So I went into that looking to attempt to find a way to defend a groomer, because maybe there was a pre-existing, oh no, oh sweet Jesus, no, that is not the case. That is not what happened. Dog got beat to death on camera. Dog got beat so bad it had a seizure, pooped on itself, was rewashed and beat some more.
Oh.
And
I'm really glad I did not watch the video.
That's just from descriptions. I did not watch the video because I'm okay. And I'm going to be completely honest. I don't want to watch the video. I feel like I need to watch the video. So I looked for it, but I didn't look for it that hard. Does that make sense? Like, I'm certain if I was determined, I could find it. And I feel I should watch it, but I don't wanna, just from the descriptions I've heard.
Okay.
And so how do we handle things like this as an industry?
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. Okay. So my question is, he was not working by himself. There were other people, other groomers there, including the owner. Okay. Of course, now we have the Justice for Atlas shut down Doggy Doodles Grooming and Elite Doodles Premier Doggy Grooming, and it has over 10,000 signatures on it.
So now any groomer linked with this. Now, I'm going to try to be really objective, and I'll go back and forth on this probably about 3 different times, but let's say, playing complete devil's advocate, that the owner had no fucking clue. No. She was having a bad day. She was having a bad dog that she was very focused on. She had headphones in. There was something, she didn't see this going on. She didn't know this person's never acted like this before, which I clearly don't believe so much. But let's just say, now she's going to be impacted for the rest of her career because her name is now tied to this. She's losing her business because, let's face it, I don't see how you come back from this.
I don't see how you come back from this either. All right. So, but let's look at, you're working in a shop, someone in the facility you are in, it's not like it's closed doors. Somebody's literally beating a dog.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a big open space. Like, I didn't see the whole video, but I saw stills. So it's open.
All right. So now, what would be reasons? Let's talk legitimate reasons. What would be legitimate reasons for not reporting this? Can you think of any? I'm working in a grooming shop. I see someone over there beating a dog. What would be my reasons for not stepping in?
you're really going to have to make me play devil's advocate and give reasons I don't believe in. Okay. I mean, I will. Let's play justice system. Someone has to be defense attorney.
Yep.
I don't want to in this case, but
No, we're not defending this guy. We're
no,
not.
I'm not defending this guy.
And we're also not
I'm
defending the owner. We're talking
No.
about other groomers in the same facility who
maybe they were afraid of the guy.
see, that's the only thing I can think of.
The only thing I can, and it's not even a great excuse to me, but
And there's cameras. There is cameras in the facility. So even if you are afraid of this person, would you not then go to the owner? Hey, you want to watch the videos?
I didn't tell you this, but Tuesday at 2:45 or Tuesday at 2:35 to 2:47, you might want to review some tape.
Okay. So
yeah,
I've never been in that position. I have never worked anywhere. I've worked with some terrible people. Okay. But I've never worked with somebody where I witnessed abusive behavior. I've witnessed lazy behavior, which lazy to the point that I wanted to get someone fired because I thought their laziness was going to cause an issue, in which actually it turned out that it did. But never physically, never to watch or saw or had a story come back to me that, hey, this groomer is physically hurting a pet.
and
I
and
don't
some
have any experience in that matter.
some of the words used, because I know some old timers are still like, give them like a little tap with the comb or a bop with the comb or words used to describe the video include punched and hung. Punched and hung. That's yeah, no. There's no reason for that. There's no excuse for that. We talk all the time about just walking away from the table. I've walked away from that, not leaving him on the table, but I've said, Cam, come and stand by my dog, my own dog, because if he punches me one more time, I need to go have like a soda. Because he's punching me because I'm mommy and he can get away with shit. Yeah. You walk away. It doesn't matter. It's your dog. It's another dog. You take 5 minutes. You take 10 minutes, however long you need to take. It's just disgusting.
Okay.
So I don't know.
All right. So anyway, he's been arrested. He's facing, I think, federal or felon,
Yep.
no, felony animal cruelty charges.
Felony animal.
But even still, you're talking that he might get 4 years. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll never be able to work in the industry or own a pet. We won't know, and that won't be until October. The trial on that.
Yeah.
So I guess anyway, you know what? This is not, so this is going to impact the owners. This is also going to taint the groomers that were working there, who may be very fine, shy, scared people, scared of this, that it's gonna haunt them.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take 30 seconds and we'll be right back to that because I'm pretty sure it's been 10 minutes. I've just been, my stomach even talking about this. Sorry, Hanby, your commercial gets to be sandwiched in here.
I know when I'm on the road grooming, I want to keep things rolling along. With a 9-foot clearance, Hanfy mobile grooming vans actually fit through most drive-throughs to make lunch and banking on the go a breeze. With their clean running diesel engine getting up to 5 hours runtime per gallon, you're spending less time and money at the pump. Visit hanvy.com today to configure the mobile grooming van of your dreams.
Okay, Mary, I'm going to go one step further. Not only is this tainting those groomers who either didn't work with this person, legit didn't see because he wasn't like that on the days they work, were too shy or scared to come forward. Not only is it tainting them, it's tainting me. It's tainting you. It's tainting everyone who says they are a pet groomer.
Because, you know, my former clients are sending me messages. Did I see this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I'm so glad you were my groomer.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm no longer professionally grooming that, you know.
So now they're worried about wherever they send it.
Yes.
I had a client today, you know, come to my house because I'm not driving or fit to stand for that long, but I have the setup where I can do it here safely and sitting. She's like, you know what? It's you. I don't like leaving them, but it's you. I would go wherever you are because I see how you are. I trust you. So yes, a lot of us do have that relationship with our clients, but what about those who have a handful of those clients but are still building their business?
Yes.
And wouldn't think of so much as bopping a dog on a nose with a comb.
Yeah.
Not
so
that I
when
condone
this
that,
happens,
by the way.
it does impact us as an industry.
Yeah.
And there are groomers who feel they have to like defend themselves because they had nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It happens every time an incident happens, but this is even worse.
And I feel like we have to get a little lighthearted at this point, you know? I think we've brought down our audience
Enough
for today.
Well, that's because our industry took a hit. Our industry is no good way to sugarcoat it. Our industry took a hit in the professionalism department recently, and it's just rough. That's just it. Just rough.
Well,
wow.
Oh, holy cow. There is an elk in my backyard.
Picture it didn't happen. Get your phone. Get your phone. Get your phone. Get your phone. Live. Not live. Now I need to see the picture of the elk. I'm just gonna. Sorry for those of you watching an edited video that I just shooed Mary off. There we go. I'll cut out a lot of that for the audio.
Okay. However, he went behind the trees, but he was big. I on my cameras, on my my security cameras. I don't know if I can grab a picture of my security cameras. It's exciting. That's the second time I've seen an elk in my yard.
Nice. That's actually is very exciting.
At first I thought it was a deer, but the horns are way bigger. He's way bigger than a deer.
No, they're shaped different too.
Oh yeah.
Elk and moose antlers are much broader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's much bigger.
So, all right. I'm still halfway trying to find videos. Halfway.
Okay. So back on topic.
Anyway, the other topic we had for today. Wow, we have 2 more commercials and topics. So, when do you know as an educator it's time to update your shit?
Okay, so for me, before every trade show I go to, if I'm going to teach something, I go through my notes, make sure everything is still current. right? So for me, it's before every single trade show. I look at it, I see if it's still current. Um, and if it's not, I go in. And then when I say just before a trade show, Chris, what I mean is like 6 months before, because I
Uh-huh.
know I'm going to be at that trade show and I know I'm going to be teaching that. So that's last minute for me.
Yeah.
Just anybody who knows me. Okay.
Eh,
So I do make it an effort to be ongoing with updating and keeping the information as current, because new information comes out. And if I'm talking about product or tools, new product and tools come out all the time.
Yes.
And if I'm talking about business, there's like sometimes there's new apps that come out. There's new business tools. There's always new things coming out, and somebody coming up with a better way of doing things. So
Oh, I can't say, I'm not saying anything yet, but I'm very excited for a product coming out end of the year, beginning of next year.
oh yeah, is it this what we were talking about?
Yes, what we're talking
Oh,
about.
holy cow. So we're going to tease you right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
There,
can't. And look, the legit reason is it's in a delicate stage of production. This person is having molds made. It's a small business. I want to make sure it stays.
yeah, so we're gonna tease you and tell you. So she was okay. I don't want to, well, actually
No,
there were 6 people there. Okay. So
apparently
somebody
she brought a prototype of her product.
to the first aid training, and the other groomers were ready to place orders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's absolutely genius. You're going to be knocking your head on why you didn't think about this.
I was as I was grooming today, I was me. I wish I had this right now. Me. I was me.
So,
Meh.
all right. So,
Meh is the exact noise I made.
okay. So I'm actually really excited about this. And she will have a booth at Pasadena. So all you Pasadena, California groomers are going to get first look at this in person.
And you know what? And the reason this came up is this made me go, oh, I need to update my ergonomics class. Like it hasn't been like really revamped in a while. I need to go and fall down some rabbit holes because I've been doing that with my shear class. Mary, I sat down to redo my shear class and I'd added some little things where I just smacked in slides and talked about it, but I really went in and added some more slides and moved things around and updated my notes and added things. And I'm like, I don't know that I can keep this to an hour. There's going to be a problem keeping it to an hour.
Well,
So,
and here's another way for reason why workshops get updated. Um,
yeah.
those evaluations. I literally like force people
Yes.
to fill out the evaluations. Give me the evaluations. Because there's a lot of times somebody will make mention of something in those evaluations. You're like, you know what? That's actually a really good idea. Or paying attention to the questions that people in the audience that they're asking. I can remember I had done a 4-hour mobile grooming class in Groom Expo last year. And there was a bunch of stuff in there. And then I went and did the same class in Pasadena. And I had made some changes to that class that I thought didn't go over as well. And then I was teaching the same class in Tacoma. So literally on the plane ride home from Pasadena, I updated and almost entirely redid the workbook on the flight home from Pasadena. So sometimes it's workshops get updated and changed because we get your feedback.
Absolutely. I've changed classes based solely on feedback. Um, the whole reason I was able to do a demo class at Hershey being semi-immobilized is they started using cameras. They started using cameras and putting it on the screen so that people could actually see, because even when you can walk around the table for a lot of demos, if you're not like right in the first 2 rows, you're not going to be able to see what's going on and what the person's doing. But super excited, super excited.
Okay. And I know you're updating your scissor class because you had a conversation with a scissor manufacturer, meaning meaning the people who actually
Make
put this,
the scissors.
actually make the scissors in a factory.
Not only did I have a conversation with the scissor manufacturer, that sent me down a rabbit hole to a website where they talked about knife steel, and the guy has a book, and I emailed him using the contact form and asked him about things, and yeah, I'm lots of mind-blowing stuff going on, and including things where I've said this before, I will have anxiety about till the day I die for giving a wrong answer in like the first time I gave the scissor class.
Okay.
To
All
a
right.
question. So I go into that and why.
All right. And so let's just say, and you know what? Yes, we're talking about ourselves, but also for other speakers, we're not infallible.
No.
Okay. We're not. And if it's pointed out to us that, what, maybe something we're saying is not entirely correct, you tell me why I'm not correct, and I will investigate that. And then I will make a determination that you are correct. I will absolutely change because I got new information. Sometimes in research, we can be limited in because we're not knowing where to find other information. Does that make sense, Chris?
No, it does, because, and I use the phrase fall down rabbit holes. And you know what? Hang on. It's time for another commercial break. And then we'll go into research and stuff, because I'm just, time did that. So hang on. I'll be back.
So by now, you know how much I love my Evolution shears. They're the only shears I use. Check out all the options, including customizable non-swivels, at evolutionshears.com, and give Abby a shout with any questions you might have. Traveling Groomers listeners get $10 off and free shipping with the code ON THE ROAD, all one word. So check them out today. Your hands will thank you.
Okay. Shit. Where was I? My brain went somewhere. When you start researching a topic, you sometimes initially get all the surface research.
Yeah.
And then when you really get into it and you find the in-depth stuff that you may not have time to even look at. Like I have many episodes of ergonomics, not episodes, emails, articles. I have several ergonomics weekly that I have to get caught back on, like 2 months worth, because life gets overwhelming. But the more you learn, the more you get into this, the more you go, I don't know if I was 100% right before. Now we got to update. Now we got to change. Now we got to give conflicting opinions on things.
And I am okay with someone having a conflicting opinion, because if we have a discussion, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not, but maybe I am. All right. So I'm going to be interested in your reasoning, because I am open to having my mind changed on something.
I try to be open to having my mind changed. Sometimes it'll take a minute. Sometimes it will take a no. And then I'll go, well, maybe, because it makes you mad.
Yeah. Because it's the first thing. What do you mean I'm wrong?
What do you mean
I'm not wrong.
One of my
well, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings is the truth will set you free, but first it'll really piss you off.
Yeah. You're gonna
feel icky. You feel pissed off at a lot of things. You got to move through the anger.
Yeah, the stages, whatever the stages of getting new information
the stages
is for you to change your mind.
The cognitive dissonance going on in your brain. You got to get through all of that. By the way, I think I'm giving, and part of the reason I'm like, I got to really, really, really redo this is I'm looking at next year's classes, and I have to get this recorded for you for Positive Ed. And I'm pretty sure I'm giving it in Dallas. I'm not 100% sure. Now I got to look it up, but I'm like super timeline.
All right. And Chris, I am about to text you
Uh-oh.
the butt of an elk. I managed to get his butt of the elk as he went behind the trees.
Okay. Okay. My phone's not beeping. You know what? You have to put this in the show notes now, right? You know you have to do this.
I ran into one of my neighbors at the supermarket today, and she goes up to me. She goes, "I heard there were 2 elks in your yard the other day." And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "There was a bear and a mountain lion just in front of my house a couple of days ago too." And it's like the joys of living in the Pacific Northwest.
You know what? The Pacific Northwest is 100% one of those places that I would move to. I'm just saying. Oh, I am giving that class in Dallas. Exciting.
So,
okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to post the butt of the elk on Facebook.
Okay. Post your elk butt on Facebook. but elk butt. And that's why sometimes if you haven't taken a class in a couple years, maybe take it again. Maybe there's
you might
stuff.
be really surprised at the new information. I personally have redone my emergency and disaster planning workshop probably in the last 10 years 10 times, because there's new information comes out, new websites. There's always new stuff coming out. So just saying.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. And you know what? You never know, and you don't know how much time and effort that that presenter put into that. Because I'm telling you, if you've taken my Everything Shares class before and was like, oh, okay, it was nice, but I don't need to take it again. There's new stuff.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just really excited because I'm a sheer nerd. Just a little bit, maybe. Anyway. All right, Mary. And that's also why classes change a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like you'll see a class given a bunch one year, and then maybe once or twice the next year, and then not for a little while, because A, they're updating, B, the people who put on the shows don't want to give the same classes again and again.
Yeah, they do not. I get that. Well, except of course the WPA, we do the first aid classes, the same exact class, and even that gets updated. Yeah,
even that does get updated. Even
that
that
gets
does get
updated on a
updated.
regular basis. It's always current information up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a class that people need to recertify in.
Yep.
So you can legit have not that I hope this isn't happening, but if you have the same number of classes, it could be the same people every other year, because it's every 2 years, right?
Yes.
So you could have, or no, yeah, 2 years.
The class always sells out at in Atlanta and in Vegas.
Yeah. I'm working on that one, Mary. I'm working at being better at that one, because it's not stuff I wrote. It's that harsh memorization. Because I do enjoy giving that class. I just don't have a lot of time to do it. But it's good stuff. So can you tell I reached a blank spot in my notes on what we're talking about?
I'm just like so excited. I saw a big old elk run through my backyard.
Yeah, and I have some. I was going to save this for self-care. This was a little bit of a digression, but it is spooky season, Mary.
Yes.
It's officially mid-September, and I think we should add throughout the season some movie recommendations.
You know what? I no longer do horror movies. I do not. I'm
Okay.
honestly, I'm done with them.
Okay. So then you would hate this movie. So Cam and I were flipping through Netflix and we came across Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil, because it's like a 2010 movie. And it's a horror comedy.
Okay, all right. I can do horror comedy and I can do really bad horror, meaning the guy's coming out in an alien suit and it's obviously an alien.
I see this has a lot of gore, but it's gore out because I don't want to spoil things too much. So I'm trying to give an example. Like, okay, person in a wood chipper. Person head first into wood chipper. But when it happens, you go, oh no. And you're like, I shouldn't. That's horrible. There's like as bloody as you can imagine. I should not be laughing at this. Am I going to hell for laughing at this? But it is funny. And it's Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine, and love both of those actors. I will watch anything Alan Tudyk is in, just saying. But it's a take on, the classic group of college students go into the woods and get murdered by hillbillies. Like, your stereotypical. It's kind of a spin on that, but it's like, y'all, I know it's a movie from 2010. So you either watched it 5 times or you're like, what the hell is this nonsense? Watch it. It's funny. It's gory as hell.
All right. So I like zombie. I can watch zombie movies.
Yes.
And actually my favorite zombie movie is Shaun of the Dead.
Okay. I will see your Shaun of the Dead and raise you Fido. If you like zombie movies and have never seen Fido, you are doing yourself a disservice.
Okay, Fido movie. Now I have to see.
Yes.
It was 2006. It's a Canadian. Okay.
Probably.
It's a Canadian zombie comedy film directed by. All right, so now I'm going to go watch this. I actually like some of the Japanese zombie movies.
I liked, it wasn't a comedy. What was that? Train to Somewhere. That was a good zombie movie, not a comedy, but it was a good zombie movie. But basically, Fido is such a comedy. My favorite line in Fido is, oh. It'll make sense when you watch it.
Okay.
So yeah. It's basically, the premise is, it is a post-zombie apocalypse world. People have figured out how to, like, technology has been invented to put collars on zombies to control them. So now you have slave labor because they're dead already.
Yep.
And of course, nothing could go wrong. And Billy Connolly is Fido.
All right. So yeah, now I'm gonna have to go find it wherever it's playing. Maybe afterwards. Hubby's watching football right now, so it will not.
The Giants are playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're losing.
Oh fuck. Not happy about that. Let me see. You can rent it on Apple TV for $4
Yeah, I have Apple TV.
or Google. Honestly, there are a lot of other sites, but I'm always a little sketchy about some of the free sites. So Google Play Movies or Apple TV, it's like $4. Worth it. Worth
Okay.
it. So good. But yeah, let's get our last commercial break in, and then we'll talk about self-care. That is not our spooky movie recommendation, because I have to save. Like I could keep going, because it took me a while to halfway enjoy
hold
horror
on.
movies.
It might be on Prime Video.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, it says rent for $3.99 or YouTube.
Well, let's do watch. Listen, people, we are doing the homework for you. Watch Fido movie online. Let's see. Okay, YouTube.
She's doing this like I don't have the screen up in front of me, and that's how I knew it was $3.99.
Okay. Amazon Prime Video.
$3.99. Because I just pulled $3.99 out of my ass.
Yeah, well, apparently it's not
Yeah.
included in the thing. I have to rent it for $3.99.
That's what I just fucking told you. Now, Mary, since you said I pulled $3.99 out of my ass, are you picturing coins? Are you picturing paper money? And do you want this paper money now? How are we doing this 99 cents?
I don't know. I'm thinking like more like a debit card.
Just swipe it through my ass crack. Is that what we're doing here? Because I do not consent to that. No means no, Mary. No
Okay.
means no. And so sorry, Ray Pat, that you get the last commercial and dealing with debit cards up the wazoo, literally.
I love being a house call groomer, but I hate doing laundry or worrying about asking my clients for fresh towels. Raypet has solved those problems for me with the Wet Pet disposable towel, taking up much less space than traditional cotton towels and easy to wring out and reuse. These super soft, comfy, absorbent towels eliminate any cross-contamination concerns between pets. And now their new smaller washcloth size can even help those sensitive eye areas. Great for cleaning out wrinkles gently and thoroughly. Need to keep water bowls for your clients on hand that are easy to disinfect, but hate all the room traditional clanky metal bowls take up? Or just have a very active pet? Their collapsible silicone bowl comes with an aluminum D-ring hook that can be attached to your pet's leash or anywhere else in your van for easy storage. You can get one by itself or in their handy travel kit, along with a set of 3 tick removers and 1 small wet pet towel. So stop by their website to check it out, raypet.net, and tell them the Traveling Groomer sent you.
I also wanted to say that while I'm usually a little bit wary of these free movie sites, I just clicked on Tubi and it just brought me to Fido for free. So
okay,
that is also an option. Is it worth $4? Hell yes. Probably more, but anyway. So what did you do for self-care this week, Mary, besides talking about horror comedy?
Okay, so while I was in Yakima teaching a pet first aid instructor training class, the last night it was a nice neighborhood. We walked about a mile to the restaurant, and then we walked back home, back to where we were staying.
Well, I'm actually a little jealous, mostly because of the walking thing. Yeah. But that sounds like a lovely, lovely.
It was
exercise.
it was a nice walk. We weren't sure if we were going to be drinking or not, so this way sort of gave the option of having that extra margarita.
I can't imagine you after 2. I mean, if
no.
makes you tackle me.
Okay, all right. That was actually the chocolate buzz. Yeah, that was really good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm
if-
never
if-
going to have them again, Chris. Never.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Y'all, if I see her drinking one at Hershey next year, or if any of you see her at Hershey next year, we need pictures, because I believe that for no, I don't. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe you're going to drink those again.
You were really good.
They're really good. They're really good. Anywho.
Yeah.
So you had a lovely walk.
Had a nice walk there and back. And it just got the body moving, because even though we're teaching and we're moving, we're still moving in a kind of contained space.
Yes. Yes.
So getting out there and getting into the fresh air. Oh my God, the weather was beautiful. Getting out in the fresh air and walking.
That's always nice. We do that in Pasadena because the show is kind of in a downtown area. So you can walk to a restaurant and it's nice. It's a nice stroll. The weather's always decent. The only time that it gets cranky is when we don't know where we're going and we're wandering and getting hangrier and hangrier looking for food. That I don't recommend. That is like anti-self-care.
Yeah. We knew exactly which restaurant we were going to, and we walked there and we walked back.
Which is
all right.
Nice. Which is nice. Yeah. So most of my self-care was going, how have we never seen this movie with actors we love that is in a genre we love? And by the way, just to circle back, you mentioned Shaun of the Dead, which is great zombie movie. I also like all of those movies that he did that were parodies of other genres, like Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Just, I'm drawing an absolute blank on his name because I'm exhausted.
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. Once again, watch just about anything Simon Pegg's in because he's a funny dude, including Run Fat Boy Run. That was good. That was good. All right. So that's most of what I did for self-care this week, including actually putting my leg up and adulting and saying that I wasn't going to do certain things, because if I knew, as much as I want to go to the New England show desperately, and I did get offered a ride, I knew 100% I would overdo it. If I was in a boot and given permission to walk, I'd overdo it. That would be a thing that would happen. And I can't. I got to get better because I'm frustrated. So that was most of my self-care. That, and I want to make up a sign for my bathroom that says, wash your face, you'll feel better. I promise. Love, Chris. And I don't know if this is an ADD thing, but there's certain tasks that feel like they take forever. Like if you're just exhausted and want to go to sleep, and like, I don't want to wash my face and put on the moisturizers and the serums and the creams that I love to buy so much. No, but I feel so good when I do it. It's just getting the energy to do it is sometimes difficult. So I need that sign to put next to my bathroom door when I'm leaving. So I see it where it says, wash your face, you'll feel better.
Yeah, I'm going to have to move my office back into my winter office because now it's getting too dark early.
Yeah.
So, Chris?
Oh, is it about that time?
Oh, yeah, it's about that time. I got to make dinner yet.
It's about that time. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and safe travels, y'all.
Well, that was fun, but now it's time to head home. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed chatting with you. If there are any topics you'd like us to discuss or guests you want to see join us on this crazy road trip of ours, let us know in the Traveling Groomers Facebook page. Don't forget to thank our sponsors. And see you next week, guys. Safe travels.